Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy. I finally lost the first 10 pounds. I'm a female, 5'4", highest weight 176 pounds, and current weight 166. I finally lost the first 10 pounds. I almost can't believe it. I know it's not a huge thing to some people, but it's taken me months to find something that works for me, and I've actually been able to stick to it. I was 176 pounds in December and January, and I tried keto, fasting, etc., different trends that just made me feel bad and didn't work long term. I finally found a technique in May that worked for me, and I know we all hate to hear it, but it's just been moving more and tracking calories to see that I eat less in a caloric deficit. I actually went to the doctor this week, and it felt good to tell them my weight, even though it's still technically overweight. I feel so much lighter, happier, and less bloated than I did before. I haven't been this weight since 2019, which sounds like it was so long ago. My major goal weight is 145 pounds, because that's where I'll finally go back to the healthy weight range, and it's also the weight I felt most comfortable wearing different types of clothes. But for now, my goal weight number 1 is 160. If I can get there by July 1st, it'd be great, but I also know slow and steady wins the race. Lost more than half of myself. Thank you r/lose it for your strength and inspiration. The title almost says it all. I wanted to thank you all for helping me to get to where I am now. When I joined, it was kind of a last shot I was willing to give to my weight loss. I kind of just accepted myself the way I was. I wasn't depressed about it, more like resigned. At that point, I had tried everything I could think of, but to no avail. As a healthcare professional, I knew exactly what I was doing to myself, how I am slowly killing myself. Just a simple blood test always got to me, since I saw that I was slowly getting worse. It wasn't that bad at first, sure. I was young, so my body was dealing with everything pretty well. But it can't do that forever. At first, my blood pressure was high, and my pulse was in triple digits from simply walking a few steps, and then my cholesterol was getting worse. I started taking some blood pressure medication, then my uric acid levels were high. Started taking medication for that. I was already taking medication for my thyroid. My blood sugar was really on the line, or just a tad over for a couple of times, and my doctor started discussing medication for that. At my highest weight, and the lowest point in my life, I would say, I weighed 195 kilograms, 430 pounds. And basically everyone thought I was at the point of no return, myself included. My parents were the ones most worried about me. It really hit me when my father asked me whether I wouldn't consider quitting my job and going to a clinic of some kind to get help, because it's obvious I can't do it myself, and if I don't do something, I wouldn't live past my 30s. Well, I knew he was right about the last part of it, at least. Me being the pig-headed person I am, I decided I'm going to show everyone that I can do it by myself, give it one last shot, and really try. I ordered a scale with a high weight limit, since the one at home wasn't enough for me. In the meantime, I did research just about everywhere, from scientific sources to Facebook, Reddit, or recipe books. I knew I had to reach a calorie deficit in order to lose weight, so I decided to check how others did that. I found this subreddit and read so many inspirational stories, helpful tips, and just general words of encouragement. I knew that I didn't just want to, but I can do it. I may not be a very active poster, it's hard to express everything in words sometimes, but I be sure to read everything I can, and it is helping me with my journey. So when my scale arrived and I stepped on it, it was a huge slap across my face. I knew I was big, but I wasn't aware I was that big. I'm quite tall for a woman, 5'10" to 5'11", but at 195 kilos, 430 pounds, my BMI was over 60. But hey, everyone has to start somewhere. The journey wasn't easy. It was pain. It was sweat. It was training of my will for sure. There were times when I was just so angry and felt so defeated, when after so much work, my scale number just wasn't moving or only slightly went up. I knew all about water weight, hormones, and so on, but hey, sometimes it just doesn't help, you know. But consistency is the key. You have to stick to what you're doing, and the results will come. As of today, I'm proud to say that after about a year and a half, I now weigh around 89 kilograms, 196 pounds, and in just 2 days, I'm having the excess skin from my belly removed. I couldn't be happier. I've never been more energetic. I've never felt like this healthy. I'm almost medication free, only a pill a day for my thyroid, and I sure wouldn't be able to get here without your inspirational stories and help. So again, thank you r/lose it, and please wish me luck on Friday. OMG, you are a hero. I can only imagine how hard it was. I'm also a woman, 5'11", by the way. My mom was also a tall woman and overweight, and I learned from her that weight just doesn't look the same on tall people. It's easier to put extra pounds on. Even if you're more than 100 kilograms, you still look kind of okay for a long time, and then it's suddenly too much and too hard to lose. If you want to talk about it, what was your routine, especially in the beginning? How much did you cut your calories? And good luck on Friday. I guess the most crucial thing in the beginning was to find out how much calories do certain foods have. I've always known the basics of calories in, calories out, but it was a giant shock for me to find out how much I consumed in certain things without me even realizing it. Like, I was eating lots of almonds, Brazil or macadamia nuts pretty much daily, like mindlessly snacking on them, or eating salad, healthy and low cal, right? But drenched in dressing, which easily came to hundreds of calories. Or I almost had a heart attack from finding out how many calories does my favorite spread have. It was a cheese and mayo based spread, so shouldn't be a shocker, but still. Also, chocolate is my weakness. I started slowly, and because of my weight and height, I still had a pretty decent calorie budget and was losing, and always just going a tad bit lower. I was never much of a soda drinker. I always drank either water or green and herbal tea, so I simply swapped sugar for erythritol there, and therefore my calories from drinks came to basically zero. I was trying lower calorie options in foods to find out which will work for me. I found out that I could swap pasta for either konjac noodles or zoodles and still satisfy my cravings. Also, konjac rice for rice. I simply cannot do cauliflower stuff, but it's just personal preference. I found a great tasting stevia sweetened chocolate with added fiber that was pretty low calorie compared to other chocolates, and I also upped my protein, which helped me feel fuller for longer. I started having a lot of Greek yogurt, ordered a lot of zero cal flavor drops to mix it up, protein puddings and mousses. Not sure if they have in your country, but I love Ermont bread. Also found out that with just a little amount of spice mix, just a few calories, you can have amazingly tasting cottage cheese. I mix it with veggies for a ton of volume and fiber, and not much extra calories. I also use some psyllium supplements, since I can almost never get enough fiber from just my basic diet. I would also recommend checking out stores for gym people, especially weightlifters and such, since they usually have pretty decently tasting protein-packed foods, and also low-cal and low-carb foods. It's ideal if you can exercise, but to be honest, I'm not too good at this step. On the one hand, I'm pretty exhausted when I come home from work. We had it pretty crazy recently with the pandemic and all, and I'm also a little lazy and lots of exercises are hard to do for me. Since I have a good amount of loose skin on my belly, hopefully this part will no longer be a problem very soon. But I tried to do at least some walking. Calorie-wise, I let MyFitnessPal to do the work there and count it for me. I chose the fastest weight loss option it allowed in the beginning, but I made sure to recalculate it weekly every time I weighed myself. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I will answer what I can. May I ask what your current BMI is? And how did you decide it was time for the skin removal surgery? My current BMI is around 28, but I was told that once they remove the excess skin and naturally some fat attached to it, it will be around 10 kilos less. It usually is between 5 to 15 in my type of surgery, and I'm likely to meet higher numbers in that range, which would put me under a BMI of 25. And for your other question, I knew I wanted it. So I went to consult 2 different plastic surgeons so they could tell me when the right time was. I was told by both that there is not really much more to lose, that it is the skin and fat attached to it that is causing my weight to be formally in overweight BMI range. that this is something I wouldn't be able to lose without surgery. They also told me that I would be able to tighten some loose skin in other areas once the hanging skin on my belly is removed and I'm able to start exercising more, because right now it greatly limits certain types of movement. And thank you for your answer and for the original post. I started at a BMI of over 60, and I'm still only 1/3 of the way there. The skin concerns are what haunt me the most. Congratulations on your success. You look amazing, and you're an inspiration. Don't you worry, you'll get there. Unfortunately, loose skin greatly depends on genetics, so not much that you can do about it. You're either lucky or you're not. But remember, being healthy is the most important. Loose skin is only cosmetic details. I would also recommend looking into the possibility of the surgery being covered by insurance. I'm not sure about your country or insurance, but I was lucky enough to get it covered. Best of luck in your journey. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. Before on the right, now on the left. Only a 10 to 15 pound difference, but I feel so much better. This is what keeps me going.